Today is Sunday, Parashat Chukat. Parashah of this week that we'll read on Shabbat speaks about, the beginning of it speaks about the way that you purify somebody who came in contact with a corpse and became ritually impure. He touched the corpse, he was under the same roof with the corpse, he went to a cemetery, let's say the funeral. That person, by becoming tameh, ritually impure, the way to purify him is by sprinkling on him some of the ashes of the red heifer, the red cow, the para aduma, with those ashes being mixed with spring water. And by sprinkling it on him on the third and seventh day, he becomes pure. In the Torah, there are many different laws and mitzvot. Some are mishpatim that we can understand logically, even if the Torah didn't tell us do not steal. We know on our own that it's not right to steal. For any society to survive, people have to respect the ownership and property of others. But there are certain types of laws in the Torah that is called a chukah. A chukah is a statute. It's a law that does not have an explanation that you could come to on your own. It's a ruling from Hashem. And this is one example, the para aduma, to the extent that even Shlomo HaMelech was the wisest of all men, said, Ehkema v'yirechoka mimeni, as wise as I am, and had an incredible amount of wisdom. He said that this mitzvah of para aduma is far from me to understand. There are many rules that have to do with it that are difficult to understand. The person who sprinkles the ashes with the spring water, he becomes impure, and the person who sprinkled on becomes pure. Why is that? And how could that ash? It's difficult to say, well, yeah, I mean, of course it makes sense. This is how it works. It's a chukah. It's a statute without a specific explanation. But the way the Torah brings it in the pasuk, it doesn't say zot chukat ha-para aduma. It doesn't say this is the statute of the para aduma. It says this is the statute of the Torah, zot chukat ha-Torah. And by bringing it in those terms of the chukah of the Torah, it gives us a hint to the fact that the whole Torah, when we fulfill the mitzvot, when we follow the words of the Torah, even if we don't understand certain mitzvot, or certain mitzvot maybe don't make sense to us, why do we have to observe Shabbat? Somebody could say, maybe I turn on the light, it's not work. It just brings light by me just flipping a switch. There are many questions that sometimes could come up, but if we rely just on our logical understanding, we may not be able to really grasp, as humans, the divine reason for the mitzvot. Because after all, the Torah is divine, is given from Hashem. And there are limitations to our human grasp of why certain mitzvot are this way or that way. And therefore the Torah says, Zot chukat ha-Torah. This is the chukat of the Torah. Yes, there will be mitzvot that will make sense to you. And yes, the Torah is an enlightening source of wisdom. But at the same time, realize that there will be situations and certain mitzvot and certain understandings that you, with your limited, won't be able to understand it. And then look at it as a chukah. It's a commandment from Hashem, and I follow it, even though I don't understand the reason for it. And this is what Am Yisrael said when they received the Torah. Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do and then we'll hear. In other words, we'll do even before understanding. And also Shlomo HaMelech said, Ve'el binatcha al tisha'en. Don't rely too much on your understanding, because sometimes the understanding of a person could be misleading. We've seen in different situations in history where people were able to justify logically things that just do not make sense at all. Values change, and even think about the Holocaust, how these people were so advanced in terms of many aspects of their culture, whether it was science or the humanities, and yet they were able to justify the most horrific treatment of people and an actual Holocaust of killing millions. Because when you rely just on your understanding and your logic and your set of values, you might come to the wrong conclusions. So when the Torah says something, accept it as a chukah. If it makes sense to you, great. And if it doesn't, it's still a divine commandment that should be followed. And that's a message that is delivered to us through the words Zot Chukat HaTorah. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.